Here is everything you were told to memorize about sine and cosine. A mnemonic for the signs, a table of special angles, a list of symmetries, and a wave that seems to come from nowhere. All of it is one point, going around one circle. Let me show you the circle. You probably met sine in a right triangle. Opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. That definition works, right up until you ask it something simple. What is the sine of 120 degrees? A right triangle already spends 90 degrees on its right angle, so the other two angles share the 90 that is left. No angle in a right triangle can be bigger than 90. 120 has nowhere to live. The definition does not get harder here. It stops existing. So here is the definition that replaces it. Draw a circle of radius 1, centered on the origin. Start where the circle crosses the positive x-axis, and turn counterclockwise by your angle. You land on a single point. Cosine of the angle is the x-coordinate of that point. Sine of the angle is the y-coordinate. That is the whole definition. Sine and cosine are not ratios you assemble. They are the two coordinates of a point you can point at. I will keep one example on screen throughout. An angle of about 37 degrees, whose point sits 0.8 across and 0.6 up. If you learn the triangle version, this looks like a replacement. It is not. It is the same statement. Drop a vertical line from the point down to the x-axis. That makes a right triangle. Its hypotenuse is the radius, which is 1. Its horizontal side is the x-coordinate. Its vertical side is the y-coordinate. Now run the old rule on it. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is x over 1, which is x. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, which is y over 1, which is y. Same answer. The circle is the triangle, with a hypotenuse set to 1. Now watch what the circle does that the triangle could not. Keep turning, past 90 degrees. The point crosses into the left half. The triangle is gone. There is no opposite side, and no hypotenuse. But the point still has coordinates. So sine and cosine still have values. Here is 120 degrees, the question we could not answer. The point sits at -1/2 across and 0.866 up. So its cosine is -1/2, and its sine is 0.866. We did not derive that. We read it off the picture. Once sine and cosine are coordinates, the most famous identity in trigonometry becomes almost too easy. The point is on a circle of radius 1. Take that same right triangle. Its sides are x and y, and its hypotenuse is 1. Pythagoras says x² plus y² equals 1. But x is cosine, and y is sine. Check it on our point. 0.8 squared is 0.64. 0.6 squared is 0.36. They add to 1. That identity is not a fact about sine. It is the statement that the point is on the circle. Tangent gets taught as a third mysterious button. It is a slope. Tangent is sine over cosine, which is y over x. And for a line through the origin, y over x is exactly its slope. So tangent is the steepness of the radius. At our angle, that is 0.6 over 0.8, which is 3/4. The name comes from the line that just touches the circle at x equals 1. Run the radius on to meet it, and the height where they cross is that same number. And the awkward case explains itself. At 90 degrees the radius is vertical, x is 0, and a vertical line has no slope. So tangent of 90 does not exist. Every course teaches a mnemonic for which functions are positive where CAST, or all students take calculus, depending on where you went to school. You do not need it. Sine and cosine are coordinates, and coordinates are positive to the right and up, negative to the left and down. That is all a sine is here. Top right, both are positive. Top left, cosine turns negative. Bottom left, both are negative. Bottom right, cosine comes back positive and sine is negative. You are not recalling a rule. You are looking at where the point is. Here is the second rule that stops being a rule. Take any angle, and look at the acute angle between its radius and the x-axis. That is called the reference angle. The point's coordinates are a copy of the reference angle's coordinates, with signs attached. 150 degrees has a reference angle of 30. So its point is 30 degrees point, reflected into the top left. The heights are identical. The widths match in size and differ in sign. So you never need the values for 150. You need 30, and you need to know which quadrant you are in. So which acute angles do we actually need? 3. And each one falls out of a shape you already know. Start with 45 degrees. It sits exactly halfway up the first quadrant, so the point is as far up as it is across. X equals y. And we already know that x squared plus y squared is 1. So 2x squared is 1, and x is 1 over root 2, which is root 2 over 2. About 0.707. Both coordinates at 45 degrees are that same number. One derivation, two values. Now 30 and 60, and one picture gives you both. Take an equilateral triangle with every side equal to 1. Every angle in it is 60 degrees. Cut it straight down the middle. The base is halved, so it is 1/2. The cut is the height, and Pythagoras gives it. 1 minus a quarter, square rooted, is root 3 over 2. That half triangle has a 60-degree angle, a 30-degree angle, and a hypotenuse of 1, which is exactly our circle picture. So at 60 degrees the point is 1/2 across and root 3 over 2 up. At 30 degrees, the same two numbers, swapped over. Now put it together. 3 acute angles. 30, 45 and 60. Plus 0 and 90, which you read straight off the axis. Reflect those into the other 3 quadrants using the reference angle, and you have 16 standard angles, all the way round. Now look at what is actually in the table. Only 3 distinct numbers appear anywhere in it. 1/2, root 2 over 2, and root 3 over 2. Everything else is one of those 3 with a sign on it, or a 0, or a 1. That is the famous unit circle chart. It is not 16 facts to learn. It is 3 numbers and a mirror. The last 3 things people memorize are all the same move. Reflect the circle. First, reflect in the x-axis. That turns theta into minus theta. The point keeps its horizontal position, and flips its vertical one. So cosine of minus theta is cosine theta, and sine of minus theta is minus sine theta. On our point, 0.8, 0.6 becomes 0.8 minus 0.6. Textbooks call cosine even and sine odd. It is a mirror in the x-axis. Second, reflect in the diagonal line where y equals x. That swaps the 2 coordinates, and it turns theta into 90 minus theta. Swapping the coordinates swaps sine and cosine. So sine of 90 minus theta is cosine theta, and cosine of 90 minus theta is sine theta. Watch our point do it. 0.8, 0.6 becomes 0.6, 0.8. The 2 numbers trade places. And that is what the co in cosine has always meant. The cosine of an angle is the sine of its complement. Third, reflect in the y-axis. That turns theta into 180 minus theta. The point keeps its height and flips its horizontal position. So sine of 180 minus theta is sine theta, and cosine picks up a minus sign. This is why the sine of 150 degrees equals the sine of 30. Same height, opposite side. Both are exactly 1/2. 3 reflections, 3 rules. You do not have to store any of them, because you can see all 3. One last thing, and it is where the wave comes from. Ignore the x-coordinate and watch only the height. As the point goes round, the height climbs to 1, falls back through 0, drops to -1, and returns. Now unroll it. Put the angle along the horizontal axis, and the height up the vertical. That traces the sine wave. It was never a separate object. It is the y-coordinate of the point plotted against how far you have turned. And this is where radians usually show up. Once around is 360 degrees, which is 2 pi radians, so the wave repeats every 2 pi. Same circle, different ruler. So here is the whole video in one line. Cosine is the x-coordinate, and sine is the y-coordinate, of a point on a circle of radius 1. Everything else came out of that. Pythagoras gave the squared identity. Slope gave the tangent. Which side of the axis you are on gave the sines. 2 shapes gave the special angles. 3 reflections gave the symmetries. And plotting the height gave the wave. Next, we take two of these angles and add them together, and the entire identity sheet falls out of one rectangle. Subscribe, and I will see you there.